Come on. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, everybody. This is True Powers Mind. This is TPIM SR Live. I have Coach Abdullah on the line. I know there's some sort of feedback coming out through, but when he talks, it'll be all good. We were just having a great conversation. I want to share this conversation with the world. Coach, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Now,
thank you for having me.
I'm so thankful for you coming on the show, brother, as many times as you have. Now, can you continue with the discussion on the bootleg?
Well, in the context we were talking about it was I was telling you how my upbringing in Seattle and how growing up they had the difference of light skin and that then we segued into the early I guess you would call civic groups, or you could say Greek letter organizations, whatever you like. But a lot of these Greek letter organizations and civic groups on the onset were favorable to the lighter skinned people. You had the Brown Back Society, the Odd Fellows, the different groups at that time in the early 1900s that favored the lighter skinned people. And there's always been that dynamic that's been manipulated with Black people. And I was saying to Patrick before we went live, this was kind of depicted in the, if I'm not mistaken, the second Spike Lee movie in School Days. And another thing I was telling him about is one thing you will see also is the dynamic. I actually am writing about this. I went to junior high in Los Angeles, and there is somewhat of that dynamic between the suburban Blacks and the inner city Blacks. When I went to John Burroughs Junior High School, if you lived in the so-called hood, or if you lived in the inner cities, if you didn't live in Ladera Heights or Baldwin Hills, in that area, they used to call us ethnic, and we used to call them bougie. And so that you got the classism mixed in with the light skin, dark skin, and this is a dilemma that is generational. You see nowadays some of these rappers that happen to be dark skinned or famous, not only rappers, entertainers, athletes, they want to marry somebody lighter skin. They don't want their kid to be dark skinned or have coarse hair or whatever.
Now, you think they're doing that consciously, or that's just the way the cards fall?
Well, I think it boils down to not living in a society where you're indoctrinated not to love yourself. Nappy hair and the hair products and all of this, trying to beautify oneself to fit into mainstream society. This is a long time coming, but the thing what's amazing about the internet is that the internet allowed people to connect, and you see a lot of Black women. I've seen a lot of Black women on social media understanding that our hair texture, particularly if you're from the North America, you can basically teach your hair, if you don't destroy it with chemicals, you can actually teach your hair to be more softer and wavier without any chemicals. And that's the beauty and the versatility of our hair.
Right.
So, I mean, we have all these things, our lips, our nose, throughout history has been demonized to a degree. Now you see that everybody wants to get the fake butts, which is crazy because generally speaking, the darker people of the earth generally don't have to have no butt shots. You know what I mean?
It's all natural.
and even yeah, and even it's ironic. It's even more ironic that the women that possess these features even follow suit in trying to copy it and trying to imitate and to fit in. And you see now, like if you look at the reality stars, it's like a prerequisite. It must be some hidden prerequisite that if you're a reality star, you got to get fake boobs, a fake butt.
Well, your reality's fake. Why not your other physical attributes be fake?
Exactly.
Now, I got a picture for the TV viewers. It's showing gas in California at $5.49, $5.79, and $5.99. We all know that oil production has been slowed down.
Well, I think that's really manipulation. It's when the gas is that high, it's really a form of manipulation. It's just like you would think. I don't mean to switch gears on you, but you would think that if the housing market crashed, you would think that property would be cheaper across the board, but it's not. As I've always told a lot of people that our society, and this is happening across the board, and the source, in my opinion, is which is a great, huge subject, which is the austerity situation that's happening to societies, but it's becoming a have and have not society. So basically, if the gas is $5.49 a gallon, who can fill up their gas tank and go wherever they want to go, whenever they want to go?
But who can fill up their gas tank and make sure the ass gets to work at home? Those are wage slaves.
Yeah. And if you see, you're talking about California, that's fun, interesting, because if you go around in LA, you'll see these little scooters all over the place.
Scooters.
Yeah. And you also see how society automatically adjusted to Lyft and Uber. So you get the scooters, the Lyft, the Uber, the high gas prices. Eventually, if it keeps on increasing, it'll mean that the common person is not going to be able to afford to drive.
But isn't that the plan, brother? Isn't that the plan due to carbon taxes and global changing that we need to get the working class and poor class out of cars, make their ass ride a bike or walk to save the earth?
Well, yeah, I believe that is the plan. I mean, that's part of the plan. But the thing about it, when we say the plan, we got to understand that there are multiple entities at play.
Yes.
Totally. And where there may be some congruence and some cooperation in one area, they may be at war in another.
Yes. We see that in our intelligence community.
And see, that's the thing that we don't really understand. And so let's put this on the table. Let's say our current president, Donald Trump, let's say he removes the United States from the UN.
Well, they're going, bro.
Let's say that let's say that he disbands the CIA and the FBI. See, and why I put that on the table, because you just look at the playing field. You look at the playing field and look at there's different. That's why I kind of stay away from saying the plan, because, okay, there might be the plan, but there are multiple entities at play, and not all the time.
So in other words, like the John Birch Society might not work hand in hand with the white nationalists, but they're really on the same trajectory.
Do you think? What? This would be a question that I don't even have the answer for. Do the Trump camp and the Clinton camp have the same end game? That's a question that I throw out there. Does the Trump camp and the Clinton camp have the same end game?
That's a tough question, brother.
I don't believe that. I don't believe they do, and I don't believe they have the same means to get to their individual, their different ends.
Well, what would be the fundamental difference between the conclusion of both camps?
Well, look at the. You had the Robert Mueller report, which was a failure.
Right.
You have the impeachment, which was a failure. Well, you also have you seen in your lifetime, Patrick, any U.S. president have this many attempts on it in their life?
Not as far as impeachments goes, no.
Oh, exactly. So to me, that shows you right there that this is that's just a tip of the iceberg, but that's a sign to me that the means and the ultimate end game aren't the same. Even though prior, at one time in history, Donald Trump was a Democrat and he supported the Clintons.
Right, he funded both sides.
But now that, hey, well, if you want an ultimate outcome, why wouldn't you play both sides?
Exactly. It's the same bird.
Yeah.
So when we look at Donald Trump's policy and critique it, what we believe Clinton's policy would have been if she would have been elected. And I concur with you. I think that under a Hillary Clinton's regime, the nation would be far worse off.
Well, you gotta just take the last administration she was in, which was Obama. That's 8 years, and look at her husband's 8 years. Okay, and you're talking about socialized medicine. Okay, so you're gonna have mandatory inoculation. Okay. You might remember how they had the Obama meal, so you might take out the EBT card system and people will just have boxes of food shipped to their house, which we'll know what quality, what kind of quality of food it is, and you got to understand who's part of the Clinton clan. You're talking about also you're going to enter the technocrats.
Brother, I'm going to call you right back on the computer because I'm getting some feedback on the phone. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Let me end this one. And then we'll call him back on the phone. Hopefully it'll be a lot better. Or call him back on the internet. Whoa, that's loud. Hey, you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, no. Oh, that feedback is still there. Hold on. I thought that would fix it, but it did not. Oh, no. Hold on. Let me call you back on the phone. That's a lot more palatable than this. Hold on. Oh, God. That was horrible, y'all. We had to do it like this, y'all. I'm sorry. Sorry for the feedback. Okay. Well,
is that better?
Yeah, this is better. It's way better than the computer for sure.
Okay. So, what I was saying is also if you look at the Clinton clan, that includes the UN and their programs, and you got to go to the UN website to look at Vision 2030 or 2035. I forgot what. I think it's Vision 2030. On the UN website, you've been showing on your own channel, which is also part of the Clinton clan, which is Bill Gates' global view and what needs to happen. That's where you get your carbon tax. That's when you get depopulation. That's when you get the unstoppable big pharma.
Right.
Exactly. So I just want to give a disclaimer to the audience. It's going to sound like I'm a Trump supporter, but I'm not. I don't even engage in politics. However, let the facts be what they are. Trump is talking about bringing the factories back to the United States, bringing the steel industry back to the United States. He's everything that he's talking these days. If you just take the racist jargon and his racist background out of your mind and just listen to what he says he has in store for America. He doesn't want illegal avians to come into the country and take the rights and the resources of the poor Americans that are already here.
Yeah, but how come he doesn't make it to where his ICE agents pick up the owners of the company and forget the illegals? You start shutting down, you start locking up owners.
That's the thing.
You'll fix that problem.
That's the thing. Trump is the trump card in the card deck. If you go back all the way back to Richard Nixon, all the way up, every single president had ties to the intelligence except for Trump. Yep. I mean, except for Reagan. Okay. You got Kennedy, Reagan, and Trump. You see, Nixon. No, excuse me. I'm sorry. Nixon, Reagan, and Trump. If I'm not mistaken, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong about Nixon being tied to intelligence. You see, Nixon got Watergated. Mm-hmm. Reagan got almost assassinated, and Trump, and they're trying to get him out of there. Every other president is tied to intelligence. So When you say ICE agents, that's Homeland Security. That's a political that's an entity that's in political opposition to Trump.
Wow. Well.
I mean, look at the head of the FBI, Robert Mueller, was trying to do. He went against Trump.
He did.
The FBI is under Homeland Security. ICE is under Homeland Security.
But the thing is, though, even
you had
did get
how many CIA agents? Say that again.
Even if they did manage to get President Trump out, you still will have to deal with the ideologue Pence.
Pence doesn't have a leg to stand on. Pence's best move is his association with Trump. Pence is not a person that can stand alone, in my opinion. And I'm not a highly qualified political analyst, but I'm just saying I don't think Pence can stand on his own 2 feet. The thing about it is this is my humble assessment. You assassinate Trump, you're going to get civil war, and I believe if Trump stays in, that his opposition is going to make him. If they can't get to him, they're going to do him something major.
Right. I agree with that. You know that this thing with Trump, we got to understand that if it's not spiritual or political, then nothing's going to happen to him. In other words, if there's not people coming after him in a spiritual way or a political, nothing's really going to happen to him. He's not going to get impeached. He's not going to go away. He only has one more year, basically, until the next presidential election.
So that's a very interesting something you said, because you can actually research that. It's funny you said, if they can't get him in a spiritual way, believe me, in the campaign, as far back as the campaign up until now, the dark side has emerged. They've been doing practicing magic against Trump. You can Google the articles; they're out there. They're trying everything with this guy.
That's not working.
That's why I say he's the Trump card in the card deck. He literally is. And I'm a kind of guy that I won't play the bipartisan game of Democrat and Republican in it. I'm one of these guys on the sideline with my popcorn, and I just want to watch, because to me, with my limited research ability, I just see Trump is such an enigma that he is to be studied and watched. And it's funny to see. It's like I told you before. I don't know if we did it on the show or off the show. I have never, ever in my whole life, and I've read a lot of different books, I've never seen the United States government this fragmented and this much disarray ever.
Right. And it's really quite scary. It should be terrifying to the average citizen.
Yeah, but as long as they keep us on the reality shows and you know, and the football games and the MMA and all this stuff, and you know, chasing rims and, you know, Instagram and social media, all those things is still in the vast majority of people's minds. So, and they know that. And so that buys them time.
These people on the Satan deal, these people on they are God and God don't exist tip, they are on a mission, y'all.
Yeah, and I tell you what, those people up there, they laugh at atheists because they damn sure believe in God. They just don't worship God. They tap into the darker side.
Well, because the darker side's promising some power in this earthly body.
And you follow the money also. You follow the money. Everybody claiming atheists ain't atheists.
No, they're not. What they are, they're basically sales reps for books and tapes.
Especially when you get to the academic and ideological level, you just follow the money. Everybody's claiming atheists ain't atheists.
But the thing
about you to be they just want you to be atheist.
Right. Because they know if they sever you from your spiritual bonds, then they really got you oppressed. If you have no God, hold on, we got a caller. Hold on one second. Hey, caller, welcome to the show.
Hello, Pat.
Hello. So,
Kathy from Cali.
Hey, Kathy, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. There's fire all around over here, you know?
Well, I've heard about that. But like I said earlier during the Dick Gregory interview, you watch. Somehow, some way, it's a miracle. A developer's dream will be fulfilled.
You think?
I think so.
Well, about this impeachment.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things. The Democrats are using it so that they don't have to face the black bloc vote, the agenda issue. Yesterday, they did a town hall with all LGBTQ Skittles.
Oh, man.
And they had the black Skittle female take the mic like she was at a drag queen show. You got to see it. If you could pull it up, it was last night. It was Chris Como. I think it was last night. But all of them Democrats was cradling them Skittles crowd.
But that's who they love now, Sister Kathy. That's who
and they were talking about that murdering. We're being murdered. You know what? all of our babies are out here being publicly executed. And guess what? You, even if you are LGBTQ, might be one of our babies. So you can't tell me that we're out here killing our own family because they're related to somebody.
Right. That's somebody's
They're
daughter,
related to somebody.
son.
They got brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, nieces, and they're already in our community.
But the
So,
thing is, though,
you know, what they're selling is a pack of lies, man. It's a pack of lies.
Well, of course, it's a pack of lies because of the fact that it's a pack of dysfunction. 2 men, 2 women can't raise a damn family because they can't have babies.
Right, that's what I wrote back on their site, on that CNN site.
Right.
Yeah, you're not looking at the black family, and until the Democrats stop insulting, ignoring, and basically pretending we're not here, you're going to have to be taught a lesson.
Right. But the only reason why
we'll vote down ballot. We'll vote down ballot. We're going to show up and vote for the judges and the mayors, but we're going to write in ADOS in the write-in spot. If there's nobody that can represent us, if they don't have that agenda, if they don't have some cash payout right at the beginning, and then we'll figure out the rest of them programs later. But I'm tired of them trying to educate my children and me. I know what they did to my mind.
They indoctrinated you, sister. They indoctrinate you into the system of power that you self-hate.
Say it again.
They indoctrinated you as a young girl into the system of power where you, by default, will self-hate and desire to be them.
Well, actually, it was just that whole idea of trying to be successful and competitive.
That's being like
whether it was in any area, I'm just competitive. And before Nellie Fuller and before understanding that it's happening in all these areas, I would bounce off the wall and hit this wall, and not realize it was the same monster I was running into in the dark.
Yes. For those who
now I know.
It always is the same monster.
You know, now I know. I just didn't have it because of the assembly that we have online now. That those ideas that I had that I thought, well, you know, I must be just out here by myself thinking this. No. Nick 51, Area 51, he's doing the same thing I am, looking at the sky.
Yes, we all should be.
You know, Radical Home Sister, she's checking Fukushima. You know, so we're all, you know, and I love that you played Baba Dick Gregory. You know, we need to listen to that over and over.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Get that in your brain. You know. Now, do you have a question for Coach Abdullah, sister?
I kind of just agree with what he was saying about the Bohemians. As when you said spiritual, there's all kind of spiritual stuff going on. And I think he's onto something with that. And I think that the Clintons are the globalists.
Yes.
And they already found out Biden's son was on the board of that Ukrainian gas company. And they're trying to put somebody on the board of the same Ukrainian gas company. I just want to know, is the United States a Russia now? That's what I was telling that. Is the United States a Russia now, or what? Are we with them, or what?
Did you hear that, Coach?
Yeah. I mean, the thing about it is, that's why I was saying before, they indoctrinate us to look at America as a single entity, and really,
that nationalism.
Well, what I'm trying to say, really, it's always been different powers at play or vying for the power. I mean, why look at the presidents in the United States history that was taken out because they wasn't serving somebody's interests or they was on a part of another team. And right now, to me, it is evidently clear there's Team Trump and there's Team Clinton, and they're you know, full head of steam banging on each other.
Mm-hmm. I see it go back to suffragette. And if you go, you can pull up on the internet 1924 KKK rally down Pennsylvania Avenue. And Trump's dad, if you take their lineage, I've taken their lineage and gone back. And you can see the KKK thing where Trump's daddy got arrested in New York. And who was there? The Kennedys were selling the whiskey.
Yep.
So you got the Catholics or whatever. They were in Massachusetts.
Right.
You have the Bushes that were in Connecticut, and he was with Union Bank taking the Nazi money, and he had to leave because of that and then go to Texas.
Union Bank and Standard Oil.
Well, the Standard Oil, yeah, with Barack Obama, and it's funny, nobody really talks about that.
When you go back to Connecticut and the Bushes, that's their clan, going all the way back to Prescott Bush.
Mm.
Right. So the mass incarceration started with that white female hollering about the black man and using the prohibition to feed their families, because now you're a cop, an Irish cop, and then you're you got the bail thing going on. You got the prosecutor, the defense attorney, the judge. It goes all the way up to the president making money on your back. And if you listen to Unlucky Girl by Big Mama Thornton, it said, every time I drink my gin, the FBI come in. So that's been going on for all the time. So those same families, I can almost see, what's his name? Barron Trump. He reminds me of that little dude with the Rottweiler.
No.
I think it's a family thing.
No, what did I tell you?
So is it lineage?
I'm sorry?
Is it lineage? Is it the Kennedys? Is it the Bush? Is it lineage?
Yeah,
are these like the Hatfields and McCoys still fighting?
Who said it again?
Is that the Hatfields and the McCoys still fighting and they're inbreds or what? If something's wrong. So what do you see it as?
Very wrong. I'm sorry?
What do you see it as?
I just see it as a bunch of different players. You right on the money with the families, and it's not about Democrat and Republican. And I see Trump as an enigma. You know, he's the Trump in the
black sheep
in the card deck. I'll tell you one little thing, you know, that's lost in the media about Trump.
Huh.
There was a guy an FBI agent that was supposed to be killed, and I think in 2009, and in a bank robbery high speed chase. Well, when Trump was on his campaign, they caught a man in the Trump Towers. You see, Trump has his own security. He don't trust it.
Right, he still does.
Well, who is the guy who they caught? They caught the same guy that's supposed to have died in 2009.
The same guy that did what?
And that the same guy that's supposed to have died, the same FBI agent that's supposed to have died in 2009, is the guy who
he shows up at Trump Tower.
Trump Tower to assassinate Trump, and they caught him. When they ran his fingerprints, he came back as the dead FBI agent. So, like I was telling Patrick before you got on, they've been trying to get this guy in all kind of different ways. And I personally believe, not because I'm a Trump supporter, because I'm not. I don't have a dog in the political race.
Right.
I think they're not going to get him. I don't think I think he's for right now, he's Mr. Untouchable.
Well, I heard that they're trying to take out the whole Pence, him, and you know that money some of that money, the Ukrainian money, went here to California to Kevin McCarthy, and he would be the next one for, he's not Speaker of the House, but you know what I'm saying? So that would put Pelosi right in.
The problem, don't let me get on Pelosi, but the problem with that European thing is you got some Clinton plants in there, and that's not going to go well. That's why I'm saying all these things that they try, Mueller didn't work, impeachment didn't work. But what's heavier? See, that you got to understand that this is another phenomena. When have you had a U.S. president in history and 90% of the media is against him? Tell me when.
Never.
Right.
Tell me when in American history you've had a U.S. president when 90% of the media.
But at the same time, you've never had a journalism bought by corporations like this where they're so controlled. And if they were, we didn't know it. We didn't know we had American propaganda. We thought we had free speech. We didn't know until everybody started dropping dead to spoke freely. Then we kind of had an idea, but we didn't realize that the news wasn't being done, like it's supposed to be, with truth and integrity or whatever. Now you can see it's manipulated, see it's suppressed.
Each one of those major networks has intelligence agencies involved in it, and journalism is dead. And it's totally run by corporations and they all have talking points. And you're not going to survive as a journalist in this day and age unless you are moving like that. But that's my point. Again, no, you can't bring in a time in history when you had a U.S. president with 90% of the. So you got to understand that the information they're bolstering in the media, but it's trash. It's nothing.
Right.
Let's go back in time when they were talking about the Mueller report. Everybody, the Mueller report, it wasn't nothing. Let's talk about Seth Rich.
It was getting ratings.
Let's talk about Seth Rich, the guy who had all the evidence.
If Trump wasn't there, none of the news would be getting ratings.
He saved them. But let's look at what's going on, though. Let's look at how South Park made a couple of jokes about the People's Republic of China, the Communist Party, and they had to issue a damn near, we're sorry, we didn't mean to say that.
Oh yeah, did you see that coach or whatever that had to go over there and apologize about something in China? Because a brother, one of the athletes had an opinion. He texted something positive, like a shout out to the protesters in China, like I do sometimes.
Right, but you're doing against the Communist Party, and there's consequences.
You guys,
but the Chinese government really tripped. Yeah, I heard about that.
You guys need to dig down that rabbit hole a little bit deeper, because that is something. Unless it's stopped, it's coming. Pretty soon, there's going to be international law over the internet,
the facial recognition and stuff.
Any media, you can't. Any country, you speak bad about any country, and they don't like it, they will be able to put a charge on you.
Wow.
And you will have to formally apologize, and you just do your dig down that rabbit hole you just mentioned about China and making these people apologize, and you're gonna find something.
It's coming here.
Did you hear that the terrorist who was caught in England, they made a new, instead of like a Patriot Act law, they have a mental health law now. That's scary.
No, Sister Kathy, how are you dealing with the higher gas prices out there in California?
Huh?
How are you dealing with those higher gas prices out there in California?
Yeah, the gas prices are crazy. We have like about a two, like if your gas is like 98 cents, our gas will still be 98 cents plus $2 because we have air pollution. There's a bunch of taxes that we pay trying to keep clean air, and it's for the freeways and roads and I don't know what all else.
How much is your gas where you live?
At least that's what they tell us.
How much is the gas where you live at, sister?
It's about $4 a gallon.
Okay, so you're
It's
not
over $4 a gallon if you put the good gas.
Oh, okay, I see.
But it's still under $5.
Are you in Southern California?
Yeah, Central Valley. Where they grow the food at.
So it's it's basically $4 and change there, right? Still the more higher than the price of a gallon of milk.
Yeah, I'm like you know, like the I don't know about, you know, Tariq Nasheed, that show Tariq Nasheed.
Yeah,
he had to get out of his house with his family. He had to get evacuated because if you know where Magic Mountain is on the I-5.
Yeah, 6 Flags.
That's about where the fires are at. North on the north part of Los Angeles, and then there's more. Something else was going on where they shut the PG&E off on the east side, where the desert is, and it gets like 30 and 40 degrees at night. They haven't had electricity, but there's no fire there.
But they have no electricity. And how
but
close
but the electricity's cut off. They've been giving old people batteries and stuff, and they said that their batteries are wearing out and whatnot. But they're in the dark.
You know, Brother Abdullah said when he was describing the fire, that's near Valencia. All right.
It is.
So
it is off the I-5 freeway.
Where you live at, Sister Kathy, has a lot of military personnel in that region. I mean, you have a lot of.
Yeah, I know. I got Ridgecrest. What is that? China Lake.
Wow. Now, I suppose the bases still have power, right?
Well, we have National Guard. That's what I've been looking at.
And where are they up?
We have two National Guard. We have two National Guard camps right by railroad tracks.
Oh, they always are located near railroad tracks for movement purposes.
Yeah. I just, you know, when you keep saying about the rail cars.
Right.
It's right next to the county fairgrounds where they can put you all in a big area. Both of the places have like baseball or football like areas where you can gather a whole bunch of people.
This is what I'm talking about.
You can see it. And then from there, there's area. Have you heard about Rex 84?
Oh, yes. I'm well versed in Rex 84 and Agenda 21 and Operation Garden Plot.
Well, that's really close to here, too. That Fresno thing that happened is real close to here, too. I'm in the middle of all that.
Wow. You're right in the belly of the beast.
Were you close to the Garlic Festival?
No, it's north of us. So yeah, I came back from like Pacific Coast Highway going to Hearst Castle one time. And I just looked at the map and I wanted to get from the coastline over to the 101. You know, just hop over because they run parallel. Well, I took some skinny little line on the map that I shouldn't have took, where it turned into one lane up a mountain, and then you came down and you could start to see the greenery of like a forest, like by the wine country when you start to go back down. If you're going east from the coast, from Highway 1. Coming down, what was there? All inside that forest area, but those militia dudes. They'd be practicing off in there, yeah, off of that, by the Garlic Festival, yeah, by Gilroy. That's why they put all those big, they had all that equipment. It was supposed to be one shooter, right? But they had all that military equipment out there in Gilroy. They know those people are out there in the woods. They didn't know if it was going to be another one of them Waco things or something. But there's a bunch of them out there. California's got it bad with those people.
Because
and they're also organized with churches. These evangelist churches, they're armed to the hilt.
Wow. Wow.
Walking in one of them evangelist churches, you're going to get shot up before you even pull your gun.
Right. And this,
around here.
No,
you know, around
Kathy.
here.
Now, Sister Cassie, think about it. You have that major earthquake out there, right? Little brothers and sisters trying to get to the evac point. Those evangelicals are going to be like looters.
Yep.
Patrick, they all around where you at too.
Oh, thank you. Yes, sir.
You had a shooting at that bar there. What happened with that? They find the people? It was in Kansas.
I'm not for sure about
They
that.
had another shooting. They don't tell you what race these people are.
Well, that's typically white. Then. They don't tell you the race.
I don't know. Is there something they said about a tequila or something? It used to be like Wild Rose. Now it's Tequila Rose. I don't know. It sounded like there was some racial something just by the way they said it.
Well, but the point is, sister, we are all on the front lines of this racial nonsense. Quite literally. Unless you live in some area that's 100% black, they're taking care of the police force, they're taking care of the church, they're taking care of the local government, and you're lucky. But the overwhelming vast majority of us are on the front line. I don't care if you're in Chicago, or I don't care if you're in a small town in Mississippi. You're on the front line. We are all on the front line, Sister Kathy. I don't care if you're in Chicago, New York, LA, Dallas, or you're in some small town. We are on the front line.
That's what I like about this assembly we got going on online, because we can put our heads together at least until they cut the computers off.
But that's why I urge everyone to make true connections and build networks of people. You go by their house, you talk to these people, you interact. This internet is not going to save your ass when you're being put on the damn train. Do you hear me? It's not going to save you. You got to make real, long-lasting relationships with other human beings who's ready to die and fight for liberation.
Have you seen what they're doing, fighting for their liberation in Iraq and Syria and Ecuador and Brazil and where else is it? I mean, people are. Well, I don't know who's really starting this stuff in Hong Kong. I've heard a couple of different things.
Well, that's the CIA. Hold on. Hong Kong is straight up CIA, meant to basically discredit or agitate the People's Communist Party.
That's what I thought.
That's all that is.
That's another coup operation. Another coup operation.
Yes. Sister Sandra and Sister Alexandra, welcome to the show. Peace of power. 144002300 days. Brother Jamie.
Okay, well I'm gonna keep listening.
All right, Sister Kathy. Thank you.
All right. Oh. Kiss them babies.
You know I will.
Okay. I make a really beautiful shea butter, body butter, and a hair product like that. It's all natural. When I hit you up on the email, remind me. I'll send you some.
All right, right on. I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right now.
Hey.
Bye-bye, man. You guys take care. Peace and power.
You take care. Peace and power.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Now, Brother Abdullah, I want to bring in, because you're very versatile on law. I'm gonna call a confidential informant.
You're gonna call who?
A confidential informant.
Confidential informant to what?
To talk about law and talk about liberation.
Informant?
Yeah, if he picks up.
Hello.
They inform for who do they inform for?
Oh, he didn't pick up. Well, we can scratch that. That was just some impromptu.
This guy's a confidential informant. He's a confidential informant to what?
Oh, he gives me a lot of information.
Confidential informant to you.
Yes, to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not that like it, like anything, you know. I mean, like major. Even though I think this show is major. But the thing is, brother. When we
gonna get ask about law?
Yes, I want to know about law and basically the mechanics of the thing. For the first time, the marshals or cops come to your door. What type of defense should one offer?
I wouldn't answer that responsibly because every state is different.
Man, they're still saying we're having a bad echo.
Also, me being a person that
dealt with
has some certification in executive protection and anti-terrorism and security management. In fact, my first job out of college, I was a loss prevention assistant manager at Kmart.
Right on.
So to me, if I were in a situation where the police, you know, I'm an innocent human being, and let's say I do have firearms in my home, just because the police kick my door down illegally doesn't mean that I'm going to have an armed resistance with the police.
Right.
You just have to use your brain. I mean, I think I can't even put my mind in a scenario where I'm at home with my family and I have armed resistance with the police entity. I can't even put my mind there.
Well, I mean,
because I'm so far removed from. Well, the thing about it is, look, if you play in street, I'm not justifying the guy's murder or anything like that. But allegedly, he had been shot before. And allegedly, he was involved in street activity. Now, if I was involved in street activity, I understand that my weakest moments are in my blind spots, in my comfort zone.
Right.
So part of being in the street life is that you got to be ready for whatever. And you said Botham Jeans. I immediately went to Joshua Brown. That's my mistake.
Right. I understand that. But Botham Jean was basically eating ice cream.
Well,
cop comes in the house, and if he had a gun, he could have defended himself.
Well, this is old though. I can tell you a story. Remember, you know, I told you I grew up between LA and Seattle.
Right.
In Seattle, there was Mr. Bynum. I think he was in his 60s or early 70s. He's watching TV, and the SWAT team made a dynamic entry on the wrong address. He had his remote control in his hand. He got out of his recliner and turned around with the remote in his hand, and they killed him.
Damn.
And nothing happened. And that's from the late 80s, early 90s.
Damn. This ain't old, yeah. I mean, this ain't new. It's old.
Yeah, it's not new.
This is sad, man. People are being put into the ground, brother. Over, I'm scared.
I know from there used to be a T-shirt they used to sell in Seattle, and it was over 50. It was pictures of over 50 unarmed men that died in police custody or interacting with police from 1985 to 1995 in Seattle or the surrounding areas?
Well, I'll be honest. 50 people from 1990, that's a low number of people considering the actual population of the region. But even one person is one too many.
Well, when you consider the black population in Seattle, that's a high number. 50 in 10 years. That's a lot.
I mean, but Seattle's still like what, 1 million? Close to 1 million in population?
But what's the black population? And you were talking about unarmed men. I know one of the stories, the guy was unarmed, running away from police, and he was climbing the fence, and they shot him in the back while he was climbing the fence.
Wow.
Unarmed.
Sad. That is sad. When we look at the whole deal that you're not supposed to shoot a person in the back, they're trying to escape. I even know, for instance, certain cops, if they're in a high-speed chase in cities and it goes too long, they just let the person go because it's a risk to public safety to continue on the chase. But when it comes to us, hell, even a deer has a season you can shoot it, and you can't. But when it comes to us, it seems like 24/7, bro.
Yeah. America is never gonna. I personally believe that America won't ever outgrow its history. And I mean that in the sense that the slave catching mentality and the bounty hunter slave catching mentality is ingrained in American society, and I don't think it's ever going to go away.
Well, brother, I'm gonna.
But one thing that
what? They're saying that there's horrible. They're saying there's horrible echo on the show. I'm gonna have to try to figure this out.
Okay.
Yeah. Once again, I'm sorry about the echo. It was not intentional, by no means. I always love having brother Abdullah on for his insight. This man has research. He has compiled hours upon hours, drudging through books and videos and the whole gambit. This brother is truly a wealth. He is a vault of information. And all we got to do is open him up and get what we need. You still there, brother? You want to say something else? I'll shut up so we don't have no echo.
No, you're good. You're good.
All right. Well, I'm going to end the show right now, Yao. I'm terribly sorry about the echo. Hopefully the audio is bearable because we have talked about some really pertinent information on this show. From which presidents haven't been involved with intelligence to the fires out there in California and racial issues throughout the West Coast. So, brother, you got anything else to say?
No, let's do it again. I thank you for having me on, and peace to everybody in the chat room and everybody who's watching the live. And peace and power.
Peace and power, brother. Thank you, Coach Abdullah.
Thank you.
Peace. I want to thank you all for bearing with me in this show. I know the show has been plagued with audio problems, visual problems, guests showing up problems on top of problems. But thank you, Sister Gloria. Thank you, Sister Kathy. Thank you, Sister Alexandria. Thank you, Sister Sandra. Thank you, all the brothers out there. Even Badass Tro. Thank you, brother. Because you are welcome and you are appreciated here and you are loved on this channel. Sincerely. This show, Brother David, thank you for being a part of the show. Because without you guys, sincerely, this show would not be as popular as it is. Many of you on the sideline have sent me information, videos, and articles. Hey, check this out, True. Hey, maybe you can talk about this. And you guys don't even know me. You don't know if I'm a clown or whatever. I could just take your information and distort it or whatever. But you trust me enough to be your bullhorn. And I sincerely say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, this concludes TPIM SR Live. Today's date, October 12th, 2019, the year of our Lord. I want to thank the Most High for allowing me yet again another opportunity to grace this microphone. I ask you all to live your life with integrity without hate, envy, or greed. Brothers and sisters, please, let's try to be kinder to each other. Peace, power, love, unity, respect, and dignity. Liberation. I'm out.